Order the Cuyahoga County Council regular meeting for Tuesday, October the 14th, 2014. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Calling the roll, Mr. Greenspan. Here. Mr. Miller. Here. Mr. Brady. Here.
Oh, it's going down.
Mr. Germana.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Schron.
Here.
Ms. Conwell.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Hairston. Here. Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent this evening. And Ms. Conley.
Here.
There is a quorum.
I'd like to entertain a motion to mark Ms. Simon's absence as excused.
So moved.
Harrison's new. He was over here dying to make this motion. You guys. I moved by Mr. Harrison and seconded by Mr. Miller. So by Mr. Miller. You got to give the new kid a chance, you guys. I appreciate it. All right. All right. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have. We'll mark Ms. Simon's absence as excused. Please rise for a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For our moment of silence this evening, I'd like to remember all victims of Ebola, both here and worldwide, and hope that a cure is found and that our nation can remain safe. Moving on to item 5, is there any public comment related to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, there is an Ed Weglars.
You have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. My name is Ed Weglars. I'm the Director of Petroleum for the Associated Food and Petroleum Dealers, a trade association representing gasoline retailers across Ohio and Michigan. I'm here with regard to Ordinance Proposal 0027, the fuel quality testing. And AFPD is opposed to the proposal at the county level, but supports a state-sponsored program because fuel is often delivered into Cuyahoga County from outside of Cuyahoga County. It appears the handheld octane testing device is the judge, jury, and hangman if the sub-octane reading is generated. We feel additional investigative steps need to be employed, such as checking bills of lading, sending a sample to a laboratory for further testing, and perhaps testing at the source of delivery are procedures that should be implemented before closing down a person's livelihood. And while the proposed ordinance states that the county shall not charge any inspection or registration fees, under Section 1302.06, it states fees shall be charged once annually for liquid measuring devices. These sentences would appear to contradict each other. Depending on how these fees are calculated and interpreted, the cost could be as much as $720 annually for an average gas station and thousands of dollars for big box and superstores with multiple gasoline dispensers. This is unaffordable and puts Cuyahoga County gas stations at a competitive disadvantage. The oil companies or refiners perform constant quality tests of product at the refinery, in storage, and at the retail level. Publicity about bad gas can publish a brand and a location for a very long time. Nobody wants that moniker. With all these unanswered questions, rather than just be opposed, may I suggest that a committee be appointed consisting of a retailer, a wholesaler, a refiner, and a fuel hauler, and the folks from your Weights and Measures group to address the details of this issue to develop a fair and enforceable regulation before any further action is taken. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Thomas Holmes.
Members of the council, my name is Thomas Holmes, General Counsel for the Association of Food and Petroleum Dealers. Had the opportunity to address some of you in committee, and I apologize if I'm sounding like a broken record here, but I guess just want to address proposed ordinance 0027, namely the fuel quality testing program proposed by such ordinance. AFPD I guess we'd oppose the establishment of that fuel quality testing program from the standpoint that there's absolutely no evidence to suggest that any consumers of Cuyahoga County have been victimized by purchasing problematic fuel. Simply because Summit County has enacted a similar program does not provide justification for enacting the same program in Cuyahoga County. That being said, AFPD recognizes the need to protect consumers, and we would support a fuel quality testing program provided certain conditions are met. One, that no fees or costs are attributed to the retailer for that program. Secondly, we'd request that an off-site laboratory do the testing, or at least do some backup testing on that because of the discrepancies involved in the handheld testing devices. Third, and most importantly, we'd request that the proposed ordinance have some sort of regulations or procedures built into place to deal how we are going to deal if there is a problematic test result. Right now, the only method is, or the only solution is, a shutdown of the gas station. Now, this is not fair to the retailers because 99% of the time it is not the fault of the retailer for having problematic fuel. The problem is higher up on the distribution chain, whether it's the person who delivers the fuel or the oil refinery or whatever. It's not the retailer. So we would recommend and urge that if this fuel quality testing program is going to be implemented, that the proposed legislation be beefed up to include what the possible solution is to deal with a problematic fuel test. We recommend and ask that the retailer be allowed to stay open and not be shut down because, of course, shutting them down not only would impact their immediate revenue source, but let's be honest, with today's media, they're going to look like the bad guy. You know, you shut them down and the media gets a hold of this. It says that they're selling low-octane fuel at a higher octane level. No one's ever going to go back to that gas station, even if it wasn't their fault. So we would recommend and ask that this legislation be amended to include procedures to allow them to stay open, to allow them to sell the lower octane fuel at the correct octane level price, rather than shutting them down immediately. You know, I guess in closing, considering I'm running out of time, the retailer should not be punished for another party's wrongdoing, and we request that if there is a problematic fuel test, that there be procedures in place to allow them to operate and to continue to sell that fuel at the correct price. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Item 6, approval of minutes. The minutes from the September 23rd regular meeting are available in your packet. I'll entertain a motion to adopt them as circulated.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Schrein. Any discussion on the minutes? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. I have a couple of announcements. I just wanted to point out that in honor of the great victory on Sunday for the Cleveland Browns, I wore my complete brown and orange outfit, including brown and orange gloves, brown and orange helmet, earrings, and brown and orange shoes. So I look forward to the next victory. Councilman Conwell, also in brown and orange. I look victory to the next victory of the Cleveland Browns and seeing more of you wearing brown and orange. Okay. Next item, we have two proclamations. I have a proclamation that's signed by by myself and County Executive Fitzgerald honoring Breast Cancer Awareness Week. And to that end, I have left on your packet a little token from the Breast Cancer Fund of Ohio. I'd like to put in a bid for the Breast Cancer Fund of Ohio. I happen to be president of the Board of Trustees, but that's the organization that gets the money from the license plate with the pink ribbon. So just buy your Ohio license plate with the pink ribbon. $25 goes to the Breast Cancer Fund of Ohio, and all the money stays right here in Ohio. And as a breast cancer survivor, I particularly appreciate this recognition tonight. And move on to our next proclamation, Mr. Greenspan.
Okay, good, it's working. To the
He wore
chagrin of my
his
colleagues.
microphone out.
Thank you, Madam President. I have the honor of presenting a proclamation, but the unhappy nature of the proclamation in that it's to recognize Bully Prevention Month. Not that Bully Prevention Month should be recognized, but the fact that we have have an issue, and as many of my colleagues are aware and who have met my oldest son, he was a victim of bullying, which caused him to leave Ohio and finish high school in another state. So this is a very personal mission for me. I'd like to bring up Stuart Musinski, who is the founder and CEO of Values and Action Committee, which has been working very diligently to address this issue among other issues. And I'll read a few excerpts from this, present this to Stuart, and then he will have a few words. Bullying Prevention Month in Cuyahoga County. Whereas Cuyahoga County Council recognizes that safe learning environment is key to increasing student achievement and success, and whereas bullying involves the following three characteristics: an imbalance of power, an intent to cause harm, or repetition. And the impact of bullying is both physical and mental, and it is directly related to student achievement. Whereas the General Assembly of the State of Ohio enacted House Bill 276 on December 29, 2006, which prohibits harassment, intimidation, or bullying, and expands in-service training in child abuse prevention that school districts and community schools must provide. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of Cuyahoga County, Ohio does hereby proclaim October 2014 as Bully Prevention Month in Cuyahoga County to promote awareness about effects of bullying and to encourage the creation of policies and procedures, training, prevention programs, and other initiatives to stop bullying. This is signed by all 11 members of council, and I'll present it to you now, Stuart. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate the honor and the recognition. We all know that bullying is a difficult thing in our society, and many of us wonder, why didn't we hear about it when we were kids? Well, I think that the answer is, if you look at children today, and principals tell me this throughout the county, children absorb the maladies of the adult world. And so as our adult world becomes more complicated, children become more complicated, and bullying occurs. I think that there are two significant numbers I want to mention to the council. 60,000 students stay home every day from school in the United States because they fear being bullied. What's even more staggering is that 1/3 of the American workforce is bullied. So if you put those two numbers together, you see the maladies that are occurring in our society. And we have found one solution to it in our program, which has trained 70,000 teen leaders in Northeast Ohio, and that is kindness, caring, and respect. If you put values front and center in schools that emphasize particularly kindness, caring, and respect, you're not going to have bullying, you're not going to have racism, you're not going to have the kind of assault that occurred last month in Bay Village. You're not going to have a lot of those things, and we've seen great success. So that's the good news. I encourage all of the council members to reach out to your schools in your respective districts. It doesn't have to be our Project Love programming or our Values in Action programming, but to do something that emphasizes kindness, caring, and respect. And wouldn't it be great if our county is known as the county of values and kindness, caring, and respect in the state of Ohio? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. All right, item 8, the executive is not here, so I assume we have no message. Item 9, legislation introduced by council, consideration of a resolution of council for first reading and referral to committee. Madam Clerk.
Resolution number 2014-0238, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment of Harriet Shaw Applegate to serve on the Cleveland-Cuyahoga County Port Authority Board of Directors for an unexpired term ending January 28, 2016, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
I'm going to refer this matter to the Human Resource Commission, but I would like to point out that Ms. Applegate appears to be a very fine candidate, but she also serves on the Economic Development Commission, and she also is nominated for the Workforce Development Committee. So that's 3 items that 3 committees that she would be serving on. And also this particular appointment has been open for 2 years. So I'm glad that we finally got a nominee, but this appointment could have been made 2 years ago. All right, so it'll go to Ms. Conwell's committee. Next item.
Resolution number 2014-0239, a resolution amending the 2014-2015 biennial operating budget for 2014 by providing for an additional fiscal appropriation from the general fund in order to meet the budgetary needs of a county department and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This will go to Finance and Budget, and is it correct here, this involves two particular training programs for the PRC?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, so Mr. Miller will hear it in his committee. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading.
Resolution number 2014-0227, a resolution confirming the county executive's reappointment of Cheryl King Benford to serve on the Cuyahoga County Law Library Resources Board for the term September 23, 2014 through December 31, 2019, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter will go on for second reading, and I would like to point out, this term actually expired back in September. We just got the renomination, so once again, there was a delay in reappointment. This will be on for third reading on the 28th.
Resolution number 2014-0228, a resolution adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County non-bargaining classification plan and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter also will be on for third reading at the next meeting.
Resolution number 2014-0229, a resolution amending the rules of council and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
And this will be on for third reading. Committee reports and consideration of a resolution for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. We need a motion to suspend Rule 9D.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rule.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germana. Any discussion on suspending the rules? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. First item.
Resolution number 2014-0224, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment of Reverend Larry L. Macon Sr. to serve on the Metro Health System Board of Trustees for the term September 23, 2014 through March 4, 2018, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Now, before there's any motions on this, we have to make a proposed substitute because there was a technical amendment on the terms. The terms had to be corrected. So that appears in page 86. So, Madam Clerk, do you want to explain the difference in the terms?
Yes, Madam Chair. Currently, it stands that it's September 23, 2014 through March 4, 2018, and the technical amendment is that anywhere it says that in the resolution, it should say for an unexpired term ending March 5, 2019.
Okay. All right. Any discussion on that amendment?
So move.
Second? All right. All those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. As to this nomination, the next two items involve appointments to the Metro Health Board. These appointments are very important because Metro Hospital is our major facility, and because it is the only board that is comprised solely of county appointments. In addition, with the recently rolled out plans for redevelopment of Metro Hospital, the next few years will be critical in the hospital's future. Dr. Ron Fountain and Mr. William Gaskill have served on the board for many years, and on behalf of the council and the citizens of Cuyahoga County and the patients and employees of Metro Hospital, I'd like to thank them for their many, many years of service. In particular, I'd like to thank them for their terms of service in this holdover period after their terms of service had expired. The two persons whose names have been submitted to this council for confirmation. The first is Reverend Larry Macon. I'd like to premise my remarks by saying that Reverend Macon is a very fine gentleman of the highest caliber. I have no personal animosity against him. However, he resides in Summit County. As I stated to you in my letter of July 26, it is my opinion that the Ohio Revised Code gives the executive a window of opportunity for the appointment of persons to the Metro Health Board. That window is from the end of the term until 6 months. At the end of 6 months, according to my reading of the statute, the duty to fill the board seats passes to the Metro Health Board. In this case, the executive failed to act for appointments for the openings of March the 12th, 2012, March of 2013, and March of 2014. Currently, the business of the board is being conducted by 3 holdover members because the executive failed to nominate. Now, in the waning days of this administration, 2 names are brought forward. And let me remind you, there is still another vacancy. So my first objection is that we no longer have the legal authority to fill this position. If, however, the appointments are confirmed by Metro Board, the deficiency will be corrected. If that is not done, we are buying a lawsuit and creating a situation where board members have a cloud on their appointment, and a situation that could give rise to litigation in the future where the authority of the board is questioned. So if either of these appointments are confirmed, I would urge Metro Board to confirm their appointments by making their own vote. If we get past this question of timing, my question is, why the delay? I commend the holdover members of the board for continuing to serve, but we could have considered these appointments in the early months of 2012, but the executive failed to act. My second objection is the process. In the days following his election, Mr. Fitzgerald made every effort to assure the public that every appointment will go forward in an orderly process, that every applicant must apply online, that only those well-qualified persons without consideration for political or personal relations would be considered. And I would refer to his statements of the Plain Dealer of November 23, 2010. He announced new procedures or appointments for dozens of boards and appointments. Perhaps those promises were forgotten. Several weeks ago, staff asked the administration on my behalf for the names of those persons who had applied for positions on Metro Health Board. We received no response. Within the last 2 weeks, I made the same request. I was informed that my request would be considered a public records request. Finally, on Friday, I received an email with the listing of all those persons who had applied for boards in for the county boards, approximately 25 citizens of Cuyahoga County. How widely were these positions advertised, or was I given a complete list? I also received copies from Mr. Jim Boyle to listing those persons who had applied, one from October of 2013, February of 2014, and June of 2014, indicating the list of candidates for the Metro Health Board. The name of Larry Macon did not appear on that list. Reviewing the list of persons who applied online, the name of Larry Macon did not appear. So how does his name come forward? Is it because in the final days of Mr. Fitzgerald's gubernatorial race, he recalls that Reverend Macon was an early supporter of his candidacy for county executive? Is it because Reverend Macon is the president of a black ministers organization who may have some influence in their congregation? Is it because Reverend Macon said the invocation at Mr. Fitzgerald's announcements for governor? Was this an open and transparent process as we were promised? Let me give you some information about some of those persons who reside in the county and were passed over. There's a resident of Rocky River who's a past hospital administrator with extensive background in hospital administration and a former CEO of another hospital. He's also an executive in resident of healthcare at Cleveland State. There's a Cleveland Heights resident who's a law professor in the area of healthcare law with extensive background in Medicaid and Medicare and healthcare law. There's a senior vice president from the Federal Reserve Bank, an orthopedic surgeon who does not practice at Metro Hospital, but is a person I happen to know. She happens to be a minority. Both of her parents were physicians. She has an extensive background in the medical field. There's a person with an extensive background in fundraising and foundation management, which would be crucial in this period of development for the hospital. There were 2 licensed social workers who worked in local organizations, whose organizations fed into the hospital, the Metro Hospital. There's a veterinarian who was involved in community organization, when while this may be questionable, there's a lot of areas that deal with animal research. So a veterinarian may bring some very interesting perspective. There's a retired dean of the local law school who could certainly assist in legal matters. An individual who has served on the Metro Foundation Board for 4 years, happens to be a West Point graduate and retired lieutenant colonel of the Army. This list does not include all the citizens, but gives you a sprinkling of the persons who offered to serve and were passed over. As I stated in our last meeting, there are 1.2 million people in this county. We are a diverse county with people who have all kinds of skills. When casting a net looking for those skilled persons, why must we go outside the county? What is wrong with the 1.2 million people who reside here, pay taxes here, have a vested stake in our county? In this crucial time in the history of Metro Hospital, I believe that it is vital that this position be filled by a county resident, a person who brings the skills and knowledge to the job, a person who has gone through the process that the executive promised when he took office. To appoint a person who is not a resident, who does not apply through the normal process, who appears to be a friendship with the executive, is a slap in the face of the citizens of this county. So as to this nomination, while I have nothing against Reverend Macon as a person, I will be voting no. And when each of you cast your vote, look into the face of the citizens of the county, of this county, the people who live in your district, and explain to them why a person who does not reside in this county is getting this position. A person who does not pay taxes here, did not go through the normal process, should be appointed to the Metro Health Board. This is the decision I choose to make. Each of you make the decision based on your own decisions.
Madam President?
Yes, Ms. Conwell.
In-
Well, Ms. Conwell has an issue.
In light of the new information, I would like to move to return this resolution to the committee, Human Resources, Appointment, and Equity. Do I have a second?
All right, it's a prerogative of the chair to refer it back to the committee, so I'm going to refer it back to the committee. Thank you, Ms. Conwell. Next item.
Resolution number 2014-0225, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment of Maureen D. to serve on the Metro Health System Board of Trustees for the term September 23, 2014 through March 5, 2019, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
To adopt.
There's an amendment we have to make on the terms on this one also.
Yes, Madam Chair, just like the previous one, everywhere where the term September 23rd, 2014 to March 5th, 2019 should be changed to for an unexpired term ending March 5th, 2018.
All right, are you agreeable to the amendment?
Yes.
Okay. All right, all those in favor to the amendment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, then we'll go forward with the amended, with the date. This is this position currently held or found by Dr. Fountain, and this position has been open since 2013. All right, and Ms. Dean is a resident of Cuyahoga County. Any discussion on this?
Yes, Madam Chair. This board commits to leadership and must guide and support management in its quest to deliver quality health care. Ms. D has an extensive record in caring for individuals and promoting health for all individuals she serves. She currently is the Executive Director for Behavioral Health for Catholic Charities, as well as she stated she is committed to serve on the Board of Trustees and cares about the mission of providing quality health care. And so the HRAE committee asked this body to confirm the appointment of Ms. Maureen D.
All right, any other questions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Madam-
Aye.
Madam
Opposed?
Chair, we need a motion and a second for the as substituted.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so is there, I think we moved the substitute?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought we voted on that. All those in favor of the substitute indicate by saying aye.
Madam Chair, you did vote on the substitute.
Substitute.
Now, if you,
Okay.
Okay,
I make a
Suspension
motion
of rules.
to
Oh,
move the
to-
amended
okay, sorry.
forward. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so moved by Ms. Conwell, seconded by Mr. Strawn to vote on the amended item, substitute item. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Congratulations to Ms. D.
Madam Chair, can you add my name?
All right. All right, next item.
Resolution number 2014-0226, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment or reappointment of various individuals to serve on the Cleveland-Cuyahoga County Workforce Investment Board for various terms, each beginning July 1, 2014, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective. Madam Chair, just like the prior two resolutions. This also needs a technical amendment, as there was in your packets on page 95. You will notice that under item BA, there is a clarification having to do with the mandatory partner, the definition of that, and Mr. Merriman while he is serving in his capacity as administrator. So they just wanted to have that clarified.
Okay, so can we adopt the proposed substitute before we move the regular one?
Yes.
Okay. Second. I moved by Mr. Germana and seconded by Mr. Schron. Any discussion on that? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. And as to the,
I move we adopt the substitute as presented.
Second.
I moved by Mr. Schron and seconded by Ms. Conwell. All right, any discussion on the substitute?
Yes, Madam Chair. The WIB by law provides policy and guidance and exercises oversight for the service delivery area, City of Cleveland, as well as Cuyahoga County. And this department provides resources and information that assists residents of Cuyahoga County in moving toward financial independence through employment. And so this committee vetted each candidate in attendance and read the statements presented for the individuals that had a conflict that day. The Human Resources Appointment and Equity Committee asked this body to confirm the appointments as well as the reappointments of all the names listed.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. I'd like to thank all these individuals for serving. All right, consideration of an ordinance of council for first reading and referral to committee.
Ordinance number 2014-0030, an ordinance enacting the Cuyahoga County Appointment and Confirmation Act and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
This matter will be referred to the Human Resource, and I'd also like to have my name added as a sponsor. And I did speak with Ms. Conwell and staff. I think there is a couple of technical amendments that we have to add regarding licensure before you submit a name for confirmation. So if you need a license, you got to send the license over with the confirmation. We'll add that in. So,
Madam Chair,
yes,
could I have my name added to that
add
legislation?
Mr. Brady also. Okay, next item. Committee reports and consideration of, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we going, you know what, wait, hold on. That's the right committee. Okay, yeah, okay, Human Resource, right. All right, yes.
I'd like my name added as well.
Mr. Miller also, and Mr. Germana. All right, committee reports and consideration of ordinance of council for second reading.
Ordinance number 2014-0023, an ordinance amending Chapter 202 of the Cuyahoga County Code by adding Section 202.18 to establish a Department of Sustainability and to provide for the powers and duties of the Director of Sustainability.
All right, this will go on the 28th for a third reading.
Ordinance number 2014-0028, an ordinance establishing the Cuyahoga County Archives Advisory Commission and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Before we move this, I'd like to ask for a motion for suspension of the rules. This is the one we discussed in committee. We discussed it before about having an advisory committee regarding the archives. And the whole archives project is moving along. And we'd actually asked for a plan for the archive, from the archivist, Ms. Satina. And I'd like to move this along so that we can get this committee up and running, because there's some indication that there'll be moving. We want to make sure that our history is protected with the documents in the archives.
Second.
So,
Is that a motion?
can I have a motion to suspend Rule 9D? All right, moved and seconded by my team over here, Mr. Gallagher and Germana. All those in favor of suspending the rules indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, so now you read it, right? All right, is there a motion to move it forward under suspension of the rules?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Gallagher. I hope that we'll be advertising on the website, and we hope that we get some really good applicants to be on this advisory committee. All right. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate, this is my ordinance, and I'm very, very much in favor of it. Yes.
Councilwoman Simon's not here on the Education, Environment, and Sustainability Committee. I thought we wanted this sent back to committee. And if you could refer it back, if she's ready and the committee is ready to move it forward, we always could move it out for third reading. So if you can.
The item that it was desired that it be sent back to committee was the county weights and measures code. There's no problem with the sustainability legislation.
That was my understanding. I agree
Yes.
with Mr. Miller. So, in fact, if there's a problem with this, Mr. Jimana, with Ms. Simon, we can always hold this,
Thank you.
and take it off the agenda.
Thank you.
So let's just leave it on for third reading. If you're correct, then we'll just take it off the agenda for the next meeting.
I wasn't sure.
Okay, all right. All right, are we at F, committee reports and consideration of an ordinance of council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules? Yes. You want to make a motion to suspend Rule 9D?
Madam President, I move to suspend the rule.
All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2014-0029, an ordinance codifying the powers and duties of the Personnel Review Commission and authorizing the Personnel Review Commission to adopt administrative rules in accordance with the Charter and the Cuyahoga County Code, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Adopt.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Jimana. Ms. Conwell.
Yes, Madam Chair. This ordinance, if passed by council, will codify the powers and duties of the PRC in the Cuyahoga County Code and authorize the PRC to adopt administrative rules in accordance with the Charter and the County Code. If there are any additional questions, Sarah is here this evening to address.
Council, Sarah DeCarroll, staff attorney for the personnel review questions, and I'm happy to answer any questions. It's on.
Thank you.
It's on.
Okay. All right, any questions? We heard this in committee, and there's a lot of work and effort put into it. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And we have some new rules. All right, item G, consideration of an ordinance for council for third reading adoption.
Ordinance number 2014-0021, an ordinance amending Chapter 701 of the Cuyahoga County Code by adding Section 701.06 and 701.07 to establish guidelines for the county's investment policy and financial reporting requirements for Cuyahoga County.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Schramm. Would you like to be heard, Mr. Miller?
Yes, Madam President and my colleagues, I'd like to thank all the people who worked with me on this legislation to improve financial reporting, including Wade Steen, Matt Rubino, Amy Bauman, Valerie Harry, Mark Parks, Chris Murray, Trevor Mackler, Mike King, and Joe Nani, and anybody else who helped, and I ask for the support of my colleagues. Thank you.
Do we really need this? That was a bit of sarcasm.
I did have questions about it originally, but I had long conversations with Mr. Miller, and I understand the necessity of it, so I'm in support of it. All right, any other discussions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Legislation introduced by the executive, consideration of a resolution of council for first reading adoption under suspension of the rule. We need a motion to suspend Rule 9D and 12A.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
By Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Jimana. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution number 2014-0240, a resolution amending the 2014-2015 biennial operating budget for 2014 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources, for appropriation transfers between budget accounts, and for cash transfers between budgetary funds in order to meet the budgetary needs of various county departments, offices, and agencies, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Schrein. Mr. Miller.
Madam President and my colleagues, This fiscal resolution is mostly routine but contains three significant items. One is final payment on the Whiskey Island purchase for $1,350,000. And the second is $600,000 additional for board and care of prisoners. This results from higher than expected prisoner numbers this summer and the delay in starting the Euclid jail. And finally, $250,000 for the executive transition, reflecting the legislation that we recently passed. I recommend passage.
All right, any questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Consideration of a resolution for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2014-0241, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 0900-320 with Investment Properties Limited for lease of office space located at 1835 Prospect Avenue, Cleveland, for use by Veterans Service Commission for the period October 1, 2009 through September 30, 2014. To extend the time period to September 30, 2019, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,019,132.40. Authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This will go to Public Works, but I thought they were supposed to end up in this building, but we'll find out at Public Works Committee. Next item.
Resolution number 2014-0242, a resolution authorizing a revenue-generating utility agreement with Village of Oakwood for maintenance and repair of storm sewers, sanitary sewers, and water lines located in County Sewer District Number 18, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Goes to Public Works.
Resolution number 2014-0243, a resolution authorizing an economic development collateral enhancement in the amount not to exceed $5 million for the benefit of Schofield Properties for renovation and redevelopment of the historic Schofield Building located at 2000 East 9th Street, Cleveland, authorizing the Deputy Chief of Staff of Development or Director of Development to execute all documents consistent with said collateral enhancement and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
It goes to Public Works, right? Yeah.
Economic Development
Economic,
Manager.
I didn't do the debate. All right. Yeah, it goes to Economic Development. Mr. Schrein.
Resolution number 2014-0244, a resolution authorizing an agreement with City of Chardon for participation in the Cuyahoga County Benefits Regionalization Program for the period March 1, 2014 through December 31, 2016, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
It goes to Human Resources.
Resolution number 2014-0245, a resolution authorizing an agreement with City of Cleveland Heights for participation in the Cuyahoga County Benefits Regionalization Program for the period September 1, 2014 through December 31, 2016, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
It goes to Human Resources.
Resolution number 2014-0246, a resolution authorizing a revenue-generating agreement with City of Cleveland in the amount not to exceed $2,033,333 for crime lab testing services for the period November 1, 2014 through December 31, 2025, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This goes to Public Safety.
Resolution number 2014-0247, a resolution making an award on requisition number 30402 to Oriana House Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $744,000 for the Cognitive Skills Development Program for the period July 1, 2014 through June 30, 2017, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
It goes to Public Safety and Justice Affairs. I'd like to recognize our medical examiner, Dr. Gilson, is here. I guess you're here. Are you here on our crime lab legislation?
I was. I just wanted to make the offer for an invitation.
Why don't you come up?
Thank Thanks, Madam Chairperson. Thank you for the acknowledgement. I just wanted to come here personally to extend an invitation to the members of County Council to come out and see the crime lab. We have finished the build out of the 3rd floor of our building, and it's a nice thing. Come out and see it. That's all.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Resolution number 2014-0248, a resolution authorizing a contract with Court Community Service in the amount not to exceed $555,000 for the Community Work Service Placement and Supervision Program for the period January 1, 2015 through December 31, 2017, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
That goes to public safety. All right, committee reports and consideration of resolution for second reading. Now, I'm going to have the clerk walk me through this to make sure I get this right, because we've got notes here, and I don't know if I can read my own writing.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Okay.
It was brought to my attention that in committee, these items were actually recommended to come out as second reading adoption under suspension of rules. And so we are requesting at this time that you have a motion to suspend Rule 9D just for items 1, 2, and 3.
So moved.
Okay. All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. So the rules are, okay, let's do 1, 2, and 3. And then the third one will be on for a second reading only. Okay, or the fourth one, rather. Okay, go ahead.
Resolution number 2014-0231, a resolution making an award on requisition number 30137 to Hilton Supply Management in the amount not to exceed $150,000 to arrange for the purchase, delivery, and installation of certain operating supplies and equipment for use in the operation of the hotel, authorizing Hilton Supply Management to act as the county's agent to purchase the operating supplies and equipment in the amount not to exceed $7,200,000 for use in the operation of the hotel, authorizing the county executive to take all necessary actions and to execute all documents necessary to consummate the contemplated transactions, authorizing the Director of Public Works to administer the project, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Mr. Jemian. Did you want to be heard on this, Mr. Jones? Or?
Well, this resolution is simply awarding to Hilton Supply Management in an amount not to exceed $150,000 to purchase services for our convention center hotel. They have the capacity to buy it in bulk. It will provide cost savings to the county, and I do support this legislation and ask for my colleagues' support.
Okay. All right, any other questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Resolution number 2014-0232, a resolution making an award on requisition number 31509 to Cold Harbor Building Company in the amount not to exceed $3,147,600 for the Jane Edna Hunter and Emergency Men's Shelter Roof Renovation Project, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Mr. Schrein. Any discussion on that, Mr. Jones?
And this award, again, is the Cold Harbor Building Company. The primary goal of the project is to remove existing roofing and installation and insulation of our new roofing system, the removal of the skylight system as well, and installation of those systems. And I ask for my colleagues' support.
All right, any questions on this item? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Resolution number 2014-0233, a resolution authorizing a revenue-generating utility agreement with Village of Highland Hills for maintenance and repair of storm sewers, sanitary sewers, and water lines located in County Sewer District Number 5, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Mr. Germana. Thank you, Mr. Schrein.
And this is pretty standard. Again, a revenue-generating utility agreement. The Village of Highland Hills asked the county to retain performing the certain services for the city to aid with their maintenance and repair work. And again, I ask for your support.
All right, thank you. And these are items that were time sensitive, and that's why we wanted to pass them and move them along so the progress can be made. Any other questions on these or comments? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. And the next item is for second reading.
Yes, Madam Chair. Resolution number 2014-0234, a resolution authorizing a Pay for Success contract with Mental Health Services for Homeless Persons Incorporated, doing business as Frontline Service, and Cuyahoga PFS LLC in the amount not to exceed $5 million for an intervention program that provides various services addressing basic needs, housing placement, trauma therapy, and family reunification services to children in foster care and homeless families of children in foster care for the period January 1, 2015 through December 15, 2020, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
And it'll be on for third reading on the 28th. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading adoption or suspension of the rules. We need a motion to suspend Rule 9D.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rule.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germano. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. These items have all been to committee, and we're just waiving the third reading.
Resolution number 2014-0235, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1300-435 with Child Care Resource Center of Cuyahoga County, doing business as Starting Point, for out-of-school time and transition services for the out-of-school time program for the period September 1, 2013 through September 30, 2014, to extend the time period to September 30, 2015, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,400,000, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Moved by Mr. Germano and seconded by Mr. Hairston. In the absence of Ms. Simon, does somebody else on the committee want to speak to it? It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, all right. Any questions or discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Resolution number 2014-0236, a resolution authorizing a contract with Educational Service Center of Cuyahoga County in the amount not to exceed $519,976 for administration and evaluation of the Pre-4 program for the Invest in Children program for the period August 1, 2014 through July 31, 2016, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Sharon and seconded by Mr. Germano. This one also, in the absence of Ms. Simon, we discussed in the committee. It's pretty straightforward. It's funding for a very important program. All right, any questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Consideration of a resolution of council for third reading adoption.
Resolution number 2014-0212, a resolution authorizing an agreement with City of Cleveland in the amount not to exceed $600,000 for cellular 911 public safety answering point services originating in the City of Cleveland for the period August 18, 2014 through August 17, 2015, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Madam President,
Oh, you'll move to adopt.
move to adopt.
Second.
All right, moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germano. Mr. Gallagher.
Thank you, ma'am. With this agreement, the City of Cleveland, which will now be responsible for answering 911 cellular calls that were previously answered by our CCOMS unit, which is the Cuyahoga Emergency Communications System. Since the City of Cleveland will be taking on additional calls, the county will support the city by providing additional dollars through the 911 Wireless Government Assistance Fund, which is funded by the 25-cent 911 wireless tax that everyone has on their phone bills, if you didn't know that. This move is takes us one step closer to the goal of having to share of PSAPs throughout the county. I'd like to thank Norberto Colon, who I don't believe is here, Ken Mills, who is here, and Al Latif from the Law Department for all their hard work. This was originally a 5-year, $3 million agreement, but the committee thought it prudent to go to a 1-year, $600,000 agreement, so as the new administration, as they come in, could get up to speed and make determinations regarding this or any other contracts that we're going to move into the future would have a better read on. So I would appreciate everyone's support on this with the cooperation of Cleveland. I see they're here, and thank you very much for your kindness and your consideration.
All right, any other questions? It's been moved and seconded to adopt. Any other questions or discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Consideration of an ordinance for first reading referral to committee.
Ordinance number 2014-0031, an ordinance amending the county's debarment law to clarify that the period of debarment under Chapter 505 of the Cuyahoga County Code commences from the date of issuance of the debarment, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
I'm going to refer this matter to council operations. I find it very interesting that the law department can act so speedy in certain instances. I'm on the debarment review board. We ruled, and within 2 days, there's an ordinance. Didn't discuss it with the rest of us on the board, but I will refer it to committee and we'll take a look at it.
Ordinance number 2014-0032, an ordinance enacting the county's Administrative Procedures Act, including establishment of the Administrative Rules Approval Board and procedures for the publication of the Cuyahoga County Administrative Code, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Goes to council operations. Committee report and consideration of an ordinance for second reading. You want to read this one and then we'll amend?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ordinance number 2014-0014, an ordinance establishing the Cuyahoga County Property Demolition Program and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Now, during the committee of the whole, we adopted a substitute ordinance. So, do we need to vote that now? Okay, so we have the substitute ordinance. Yes.
The substitute automatically carries over.
Okay.
It's just second reading, so we
Okay.
don't need to do anything.
So we don't need to do anything. We don't need to clarify. We did, for those who were not present during the committee of the whole, there was an interesting discussion. There may be some other amendments coming forward before our next reading. All right. Committee reports and consideration of an ordinance for second reading and referral to committee.
Ordinance number 2014-0027, an ordinance enacting Title 13, Chapter 1302 of the Cuyahoga County Code to establish the Cuyahoga County Weights and Measures Code, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
And this is the one they wanted referred back to the committee. Okay, so this will go back to education and sustainability. Okay, and we have a report of the clerk. I think the clerk wants to make a statement.
Madam Chair, there are several items listed, or pieces of legislation listed on your agenda. It was requested by each of the sponsors to have this legislation withdrawn.
Okay, so the items are withdrawn are listed on your agenda. All right, miscellaneous committee reports. Let's start down here. Do we have any miscellaneous committee reports? No, no. Ms. Conwell?
Public Works Committee. We will meet 8 days from today.
8 days.
8 days from today to discuss the items referred to today.
And yes, Madam Chair, Human Resources Appointment and Equity will be on the 21st at regular time, 10 o'clock, to address the matters that were presented today.
Economic Development Committee meeting will meet at 3 o'clock on the 20th.
What is that?
Gallagher?
15th, be next Tuesday, 1 o'clock.
We're here.
Miller?
Madam President, Finance and Budget will meet at our regular time on Monday, October 20th at 1 p.m. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam President, council operations will meet Monday, the 20th at 9 a.m.
Any other miscellaneous business?
Right.
Yes.
To say for the record, I just returned from Atlanta And I have a new appreciation for our councilman there to my right, Mr. Greenspan, because I was staying right at Sandy Springs, and it's Atlanta.
Is that in the south?
You know what's interesting though? I had on the TV this morning, and the most expensive city to live in the nation is Washington D.C. And the cheapest place in the nation is Cleveland, Ohio.
Sandy Springs.
Yeah, Cleveland, Ohio, lowest cost. All right. So, is any other public comment unrelated to the agenda?
No, Madam Chair, there's none.
Okay, anything else for the good of the order other than go Browns? I will note that our next meeting will be October the 28th. We have a 3 o'clock meeting, the Committee of the Whole, with Mr. Applebaum for an update on the Global Center and the hotel, and a regular meeting at 5 o'clock. If there's nothing else, stands adjourned. Go Browns.